Well, my next comment is going to be something Snoop Dogg would really agree with. G'day Wizardians, Ryan here, about to give you your next dose of crypto education medication. Today's topic is relatively simple. It's all about the mint to burn ratio. So make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll keep you up to date and informed on everything happening here in crypto. To get things started, let's define minting as the creation of tokens, and we can define burning as the destruction of tokens. So how does the mint to burn ratio actually work? First of all, looking back to the 2-token model from a previous video, we know that many or most projects have actually set their utility token to an uncapped supply. Of course, this is the token that managers and scholars alike actually collect and cash in. So as players compete and earn, the number of minted tokens actually rises exponentially. As a result, GameFi projects have to introduce burning mechanisms. The whole concept behind this is actually supposed to counteract the minting process, keeping a balance or an equilibrium in the amount of tokens that are actually in circulation. So the mint to burn ratio is how much of the uncapped token is burnt in relation to how much is minted. Usually this is represented every day in a graph.
So this is the mint burn ratio for SLP. So when we're talking about how the assets just make more and then just have that compounding effect. So when you breed more, all they're doing is just making a new asset, which then produces more of the same utility token, in this case SLP. You can see it goes from, when we were very small, 18 million all the way up, and we start getting to, in the 200 millions, even, it even touches $1 billion there for a little bit. And this continued, and it just kept producing more and more SLP, and you can see all of this between the two is what's in circulation.
As you can see on this graph with Axie's SLP, there is a hell of a lot more tokens that are minted as opposed to how much are burned.
And at some point, when the price of the token collapsed and it was no longer profitable to breed, now everyone's just cashing out all of the SLP, and you can see that in the chart here, where it's just a complete just bearish trend, just forever going down until it's at a point where it's the actual data itself costs.
So this actually has a negative impact on the token price, causing it to drop and drop and drop, which we can actually see here on the candlesticks. So why is the mint to burn ratio actually important? Well, my next comment is going to be something Snoop Dogg would really agree with. To avoid hyperinflation, GameFi projects need to keep the mint to burn ratio as high as possible for as long as possible. However, at some point, the managers and the scholars, they do need to cash in their tokens. And while the mint to burn ratio is high, breeding is generally a very good way for them to do so. But it does require a little bit of work, unlike being able to dump or sell the tokens on any exchange that takes them. As breeding becomes less profitable and people get spooked by price drops in the token, panic sets in, and that's when everybody starts to sell their tokens on the exchange. And this is where GameFi projects get shot in the foot. It leads to less tokens being burnt, more tokens in circulation, higher sell pressure, and lower demand. So why does all this matter? As it's impossible to have a perfect equilibrium, the goal is to see a good balance in the mint to burn ratio, because this indicates that the tokens are being reinvested or put back into the game, which really does apply the simple supply and demand concepts. In a nutshell, a high burn rate will actually show that the tokens are doing and being used as they're supposed to be. A high mint and a low burn would actually show that the tokens are being held onto or sold. So how do we keep the mint to burn ratio in check? Personally, I'd like to see GameFi projects implement burning mechanisms that actually target less overall net mint. For example, repairs, entry fees, subscription models, freemium versions, and of course, upgrades to NFTs or characters. This is one of the big reasons why I was actually drawn to Wizardia. with a single token economy and a capped supply of the token, which is substantially lower than many other GameFi projects, actually allows us to focus on our great in-game economy without having to worry about the mint to burn or using up our time and resources to plug in the holes of an already sinking ship. Well, there you have it, Wizardians. I hope you liked our content today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell louder than any church bell you've ever heard. Mint to burn ratio, supply and demand.